Okay, so here we are at our compost bays. I'll let Mitch explain those, but just from a restaurant point of view, there's a fair bit of waste, things that come back from the restaurant that we can use in the compost, including all our hand paper towels and food that we can't reuse in other ways. So I'll hand it over to Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're looking at here is our holding bay. So all of our food waste that comes from the restaurant and waste from the garden will come into this initial bay. And here we actually add bokashi, which we ferment ourselves, which is a Japanese fermented product, which allows us to kind of ferment the food scraps and stabilize them. And once we've added our bokashi, we'll also add straw and manure, which we get from a goat farm locally. And once we've filled up this bay, we'll then move over to our static pile aerobic bay, where we finish off the composting process. So here's one of our static pile aerobic compost bays that is obviously unfilled. You can see here we've got pallets at the bottom, and we also have these PVC pipes with holes drilled into them. And the purpose of it is a static pile, so the compost isn't turned, but it sits in this compost bay, but because of the pipes, it allows air to travel through the compost. And here we get the best of both worlds, where it's a static pile, there's some anaerobic fermentation, but we're also getting aerobic fermentation as well. And that's often the issue when you're dealing with a lot of food waste, is that it just goes anaerobic and then it smells and goes yucky and isn't breaking down very well. And so here, yeah, we get the best of both worlds. And if we move over here, we'll see a compost that's been sitting for about 3 or 4 months, and it's nearly finished breaking down. You'll see that there's still holes providing air going through the centre and the sides of the compost bay, but now it's also starting to break down and fill in the holes, and soon we'll move this to a new bay where it'll cure for another 6 months or so, and then it'll go onto the garden.
And this was full when we first started. It was right chockers to the top, and just to see the way it's broken down is amazing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's breaking down really uniformly, which is really nice, which is a benefit of having the air coming through it. Often in an anaerobic pile you'll get pockets that don't break down or pockets that do, and this way it just creates a more uniform compost for us. And really, compost for us is the key to our garden.